Hello and welcome to this episode of the Sanibel Captiva Guide Podcast. Today I would like to welcome our guest, Ron Rosse. You might recognize the name, famous road on Captiva, the main road, is called Andy Rosse Lane.
Yeah.
So...
Not really main road, but...
Well, it kind of is,
I guess it kind of is, because all the shops, all the restaurants...
Mucky Duck, yeah.
Yeah, so, all right, we'll go with that. Main road.
Yes. So,
or lane.
Tell us the connection between Andy Rosse Lane and yourself, Ron.
Andy's my grandfather. I believe the road was named after him in 1976.
Right.
Before that, it was Palm Avenue.
Right. I have read about that. That was Palm Avenue.
Okay. So tell us a little bit about your grandfather. What was he from England?
How did he get a road named after him?
He was born in England, came to the United States when he was 1 year old, grew up in Ybor City.
In Tampa, near Tampa.
Yes. And he would jump on the trains and ride the trains around Florida up and down the coast, just exploring. And he found Pine Island first. And he lived in Bokeelia 1920. In 1921, he moved to Captiva Island.
Really?
So
wow.
Captiva Island, we read a little bit about it back then, was not what it is today. Have you got any stories? I mean, what was it like back in 1920? Or what, you know... Have you been told, or is he said what it was like? Or?
There's a lot more trees now.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I have heard that about Sanibel too, that everybody thinks that it was of this tropical lush vegetation, but actually it was just like scrub grass and very short palms. So it's, I guess people that lived here have now made the landscaping it is today.
Right.
Yeah. So, yeah, anything else that you remember from recollections of your grandfather telling you stories?
Yeah, I would talk with him quite a lot at the entrance to the lagoon in our property. He liked to, it was filling in, he'd like to piddle around and shovel the dirt out and let the water flow, and I'd talk to him. And one story I remember, he said that they caught so many, he got tired of eating pompano, filleting them, so they decided to eat the heads instead for something different.
Oh, jeez. Okay, that doesn't sound good.
So what brought him out to Captiva particularly? Was it fishing, or was it just...
I don't exactly know. I know he just loved the place, and that's where he made his home.
Right. And then,
where was the family home? Where exactly?
Well, I grew up down by the community center, but we had a couple of cottages on the property, and I think there was 5 of us living in a little 1-bedroom cottage at one time.
oh, wow.
But Grandpa's house is still there.
Oh, it is?
It's the office for McCarthy's Marina.
Oh, that was his house.
I didn't realize that.
Oh,
that's very cool. So, right. Wow. All right. We'll have to get a picture of that.
On that property on McCarthy's Marina, there used to be cottages there, or...
Well, on our half, there's 2 halves of the property.
Okay.
Our half was next to Jensen's.
Okay.
Right. All right. And then, so that was where, and then there was a dock going out, and there was a bar of some sort, or an establishment out on the dock. Is that correct?
It used to be Randall's Marina, or I believe that was the name. Mm. And then he wanted to sell it. And Granddaddy borrowed the money off of Ding Darling.
Right.
And bought it.
Which nobody would probably guess how much he bought it for now. When you think about Captiva now and the prices, I mean, houses are selling for $10, $11 million. So tell us, how much did your grandfather buy the property for?
Just a quick message before we get back to the show. We put a ton of effort into bringing you quality content, so if you would like to help us share our love of the islands, here are several easy ways. Firstly, you can support us on Patreon. You could purchase an island souvenir from our Etsy store. You can metaphorically buy us a coffee, which is an easy way to donate a couple of bucks.
Don't you prefer tea?
Well, I do, kind of. Also, like and subscribe to our channel to keep up to date with all things Sanibel and Captiva. And finally, show some love to our sponsors. Let them know we sent you. All the links are in the description below. Now, back to the episode.
I was told $750, but other people are saying $800, $850.
Either way, under $1,000.
Right? Borrowed from the famous Ding Darling, who our nature preserved is named after. He was a political cartoonist, a famous political cartoonist who vacation on the island. And obviously, I guess he was a client of your grandfather's. Is that correct? I believe that your grandfather would take him out fishing, I think.
They were good friends, yes.
And friends.
Very good friends.
Right. Yeah, obviously to loan him the money to buy the property.
He said he took it right out of his pocket, didn't have to go to the bank.
Oh, wow.
Which I'm sure $700, even though it doesn't sound a lot, or $800 back then was an awful lot of money, I'm sure.
Right.
Yeah. So he set up on the island, and he was a fishing guide or a fisherman or all of the above?
All of the above. Commercial fisherman, fishing guide, whatever it took to survive.
Right. And let's not forget your grandmother. Her name was Dessa, correct?
Dessa, yes.
And I read a story. They actually married when your grandma was 14, I think.
I believe that's correct.
Right. Yeah. Wow. So they met up in Tampa, I think, and they decided to... Is that what
I'm not sure of where, but yeah.
Yeah.
And then, so how long has the family been? Obviously, how long has the family been on the island? So, is there any of the Rosses left now on Captiva?
No. We sold in 1990. We couldn't afford the taxes anymore.
Right.
Because we had like 3 acres on the bay.
Oh wow.
Oh wow.
It went from Andy Rosse Lane all the way to Jensen's.
So
That's
now,
huge.
if you look at the map now, in between there's another condo building in between there. So that wasn't there.
Well, the property was split into 2 halves. There was a commercial half where the dock was on, and then the multifamily, which is next to Jensen's, and that's where there was a duplex there. We remodeled, and that was our house.
Gotcha.
Oh wow! So where the condos are now?
It was just back from them.
Oh, okay.
Gotcha.
On the actual bay.
Yeah.
So were you were born on the island or?
Lee Memorial, Fort Myers.
Okay.
Yeah. And there's how many of you? So there's yourself, your brothers or sisters?
I have 1 brother and 1 sister.
1 sister. So Andy and Dessa had how many children?
2.
2. And your father is Charlie?
Charlie.
Right.
And his sister June.
Okay.
So Charlie and June, did they stay on the island? Obviously, because you grew up here, but did they stay on for most of their lives? Or?
My dad did. His sister June, my Aunt June.
Yeah.
She got married. She lived down in Naples with her husband.
Okay. And what did your father do? Same thing as your grandpa? Fishing?
Yeah, we net fished, gill nets, stone crabbed. We had lobster traps down in the Keys. We would go pull in season.
Okay.
Take out for the weekend, go pull our lobster traps and come home.
No way, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And plus Dad had always been a guide, and he was very, very good at it.
Yeah, I'm sure, growing up on the island. And wow, that's amazing. And then what are your memories of growing up? Did you go to school out on Captiva, or where was your schooling?
Well, where the Sanibel Elementary School is now, it was never that big. It was just like an L building,
right?
Brick building, and it was grades. I think it was
kindergarten
through 5th grade,
right?
And then just a small. I mean, it was a big property,
right? But small,
nothing like it is now.
No, it's pretty impressive now for the little small island that we have. So there's no school on Captiva. You had to did you get bus to the school, or did you?
Yeah.
Ride share, maybe?
No, the bus would pick us up and take us to Sanibel.
Okay. And then after the elementary, did you go into Fort Myers for schooling?
Cypress Lake Middle, Cypress Lake High.
Gotcha.
Wow, that's incredible. So what about you? Did you follow in your grandfather's footsteps and your father's footsteps at fishing guide? Or?
Yeah, I've followed all that, the stone crabbing, the lobster and everything.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think I read you went down to were you in Key West for a while, living down there?
A Marathon.
Oh, you were in Marathon, and that's where you set up home down there?
When we sold the property, my dad bought us, he bought a boat for himself, but if we fished it for 5 years, he was going to give it to my brother and I.
Oh, nice.
And it was a 39-foot Morgan, which is a very good commercial boat.
Oh, yeah, they're still about, aren't they?
Yeah. We had 2,500 stone crab traps and 1,650 lobster traps.
No way.
That's
Wow.
a ton.
Wow.
That is a ton. I think I read that even stone crabs didn't even used to be a thing back in the day. Is that right?
Yeah, my dad and Jerry Way would have to go travel sometimes up and down the coast to sell.
Right. People didn't even want them.
They didn't want them, yeah.
They thought.
Really?
Yeah, I have read that. There was another fishing guide in the Everglades named Toch. I think I've read his book about.
Right.
Yeah, he talked about the same thing that.
Were blue crabs a thing back then or not?
Yeah, I caught a few. I didn't really like eating blue crabs, but back then you could put a trap out and you'd have like 20 in it overnight.
Really?
Big one. They call them A number ones.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not
So
a blue crab fan.
we get them
either.
out of the. We live on the Caloosahatchee, and we get them out of there occasionally. They're great for doing the old crab cakes, but they're
fiddly, aren't they?
They're fiddly to.
They're not
To pick. You
as,
go.
well, they're not as plentiful as they used to be.
No.
There's so many guys trapping them now. It's amazing.
Right. According to you, I mean, your memories that the fishing has dwindled a lot since. Have there different species are here now, or is it just not as many?
Well, a lot of people said, obviously, that the gill nets were killing. We were killing dolphin and turtles
Right.
and everything. I've never had anything in my net like that.
Yeah. So they put a ban on gill netting. Is that?
Yeah.
So
What
gill
happened?
nets is what, where you tow it behind a boat, or is it where you're static
No,
net?
you strike. You can. Well, if you're pompano fishing, you just run it out off the beach, or you can strike them, depending on where you are and what they're doing.
What does that mean? Strike them.
That's where the boat's in gear, and you throw the net over, and you put a circle around them, and then you gradually curl it down,
Oh, gotcha.
Oh,
and they have nowhere to go.
right.
Gotcha,
But
gotcha.
eventually, I guess the government made that illegal. Is that right?
Well,
What happened?
there was a lot of misinformation about that, and the general public, they didn't have a clue what was going on in the
Right.
water.
They were just listening to what people were saying, obviously.
and most of them still don't
Right.
have a clue. I mean, what's going on in the water.
That's true.
And so the people against us, Florida Sportsman Magazine, they were showing footage of drift nets from like the Japanese trawlers, like,
Oh, right.
with
yeah.
20 miles of net offshore, and they were catching and killing everything,
Right.
but we weren't.
You weren't.
Uh,
Right. So that kind of put a big damper on the fishing industry here,
Yeah.
correct?
Yeah,
Oh.
I bought a boat and I had all my nets.
Oh,
So I was just
gotcha.
getting ready to buy a motor for the boat, and then
This happened.
they shot us down, and I sold it cheap and went on to something else.
Oh no!
Really?
Wow.
Really?
That's tough.
so what were you catching back then? Mullet, or what was the main thing that you were netting?
The main things were mullet, and pompano and mackerel.
Okay.
Gotcha. And what would you do with them once you caught them? Where would you sell them?
I was selling them to Jug Creek Marina in Bokeelia.
Gotcha.
Was that still there?
Yes,
It is.
it is
yeah.
still a working fish house.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, is that the one at the very point? Do they have a restaurant there as well?
No, that's they're just back from there.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
You're
yeah.
talking about Captain Khan's.
Yeah.
That's right. Yes. Yeah. Okay.
And,
So there is still a commercial industry, fishing industry, but
yeah,
it
there's
was-
a couple of guys still doing it, not many.
right.
And I live in Bokeelia now. It's
Okay,
funny,
Pine Island.
Granddaddy lived there in 1920. Now I'm living there.
Now
No,
you're
so you've done
back
a
again.
full reversal. That's funny.
Oh my
And
goodness.
so, do you do any fishing now or not? Or
No, I haven't put a rod in the water in a long time. I just go out riding around,
right.
yeah,
looky-looing. And,
Yeah.
yeah. But
Yeah.
you're still an avid boater.
oh, yeah, I have two.
2 boats.
Yeah. Yeah. Our
That's awesome.
son's best friend's father was, I forget his Fury. He's written several books, and I think he's the same. I think he was a fishing guy for so long. I don't think he's gotten into a boat in a long time either.
No,
I'm sure
no.
it can be exhausting.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah.
I've caught so many rod and reels, nets. I've just caught so many. Just don't get into it anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
So you're buying your fish like we are.
Oh no, I never do that.
No, you never do that.
You have friends, you know people.
I have, lots. I know all the commercial guys. Yeah.
Right.
You get the hook
They'll
up.
hook you up.
Yeah. So Pine Island, for those of you that don't know, is a barrier island that's just inside of the barrier islands of Sanibel and Captiva. It's further between the mainland and Fort Myers and North Fort Myers, and it's a characterful place in itself. It's definitely a bit of old Florida because it's a place you dead end into. There's no through traffic, so it's got a lot of old Florida charm, and it's a really, really cool place in itself. And I like going out there.
Sorry.
That's all right, no problem.
Hello.
He's got a little phone there. And then so there's basically two main parts to it. You've got the centre part where there's a lot of boats that go out to, which is Pineland Marina, isn't it? Where the boats go out to Usepa and all the
Cabbage Key.
all the workers go out there. You've got the northern part, which is Bokeelia, which is made of a couple of restaurants, a fishing area, and what else? A marina.
There's Four Winds Marina. There's a Lazy Flamingo restaurant inside.
Yes,
Oh,
that's
that's
right.
right. Yeah.
Our property
Yeah.
too. Captain Con's is at the very end of the road.
Yeah.
It's a public fishing pier. A lot of people go there for sunset.
Yes.
It's a beautiful spot. We ride out on motorcycle occasionally. It's a great bike ride out there. And then the other end, the southern end. And how long is Pine Island? Probably 10 miles, is it?
No, I think it's approximately like around 13 and a half, something like that.
Is it?
14 miles, something like that.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
the other end is a hotel called the Tarpon Lodge, I believe. Is it Tarpon Lodge?
Yeah, I think that's the name of it.
Yeah. So anyway, it's worth a trip out there. You go past Matlacha, which is the
Kind
island
of artsy
little nichey place where lots of little artists get together. Great
restaurants.
Yeah, great drive. If you want to go out for a drive, it's a great place to go. Yeah, for sure. And how long have you been out there, Ron?
Pretty much, let's see, since about 94.
Oh, really? So right after you left Captiva, and then
Yeah.
So what other memories do you have of Captiva? I know, do you remember like the famous, like Ron Rauschenberg and?
My friend James, his mom worked for Bob Rauschenberg, and we would walk his dogs. We were little kids. He'd pay us to walk his dogs down the beach. He had like 5 dogs.
Really? And if anybody doesn't know, can you describe who Rauschenberg was? What?
He's a famous artist, very famous. I don't know what his style is.
Yeah, it's more collage of photographs, I think.
Right.
Yeah. And his last painting, I think, sold for $88 million.
$88 million.
Yeah. So.
Wow.
My friend actually has one of his paintings that was given.
No way.
I think to his mom. And then now my friend has it.
Oh, wow.
Wow, that's
So
incredible.
Keep a close eye on that.
Yeah, I don't know what it's worth.
Yeah.
Wow, that's incredible.
That's amazing.
Incredible.
And who else? Do you remember? I think your mother worked for the Bubble Room. Is that right?
Yes, my Gloria was my mother's name. And she was the hostess at the Bubble Room for I think 10 or 12 years.
Oh, wow.
Something.
Gosh, and the Bubble Room is still there, not but originally owned by Katie Gardenia and her husband. And then obviously your mother did a fantastic job as a hostess.
They say she was in Katie's exact words, she was spot on.
Right.
Spot on.
And do you remember eating lots of bubble room cake?
She'd bring home like 6 or 8 slices of all the different cakes every night.
Every night. Oh my gosh. Do you have a favorite?
No, they were all good.
Yeah.
Come morning, they were gone.
Wow. And if you've never been to the Bubble Room, these slices it's like half a cake you get for dessert.
Massive.
Yeah.
You feed 4 people.
Yeah.
But a lot of people will go there just for the cake.
You're right. Yeah. I would definitely recommend going to the Bubble Room if you come to visit.
So what about growing up on Captiva? Do you have any fond memories? I mean, what did your days consist of? Were you running around on the beach doing campfires? Were you doing, I mean, what would you do?
When we got motorcycles, that was pretty fun. We would ride on to South Seas Plantation and make security patrol chase us.
Oh,
no. we were bored. We didn't have anything else to do.
Right. Yeah. Were there how many other kids? Were there any other children?
Yeah,
to hang
there
out
was
with?
There was about 6 or 8 of us.
6 or 8, which is not very many.
No, but
Are you still tight today? Do you stay in touch with the people or not?
Oh,
really?
yeah.
Yeah. It's definitely a life that most people. It sounds idyllic, doesn't it, to live on an island? Were you out there before the causeway, or were you how old? Not to ask how old you are.
I think the causeway was 65, and that's right around the time I came along.
Okay.
But I believe, if I remember this correctly, when my mother was pregnant with my sister, Margot, he had to go from Captiva all the way up the Caloosahatchee to downtown Fort Myers to take her, and he had to go, by boat.
Oh, to take your mom
to the hospital.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, really?
And it was a little 18-foot wooden Courtney, one of Grandpa's rental boats with a 25 Johnson on it.
No way. So it
and
must
your
have taken
poor mom.
forever.
No, I can't imagine.
I can't imagine. Yeah.
No.
It's probably taken about 2 hours to get there.
Yeah, in an 18-foot boat, and your mother.
Man.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
And what else? I think your grandfather, did he play guitar? I read stories about how the restaurant, it was quite a place for the locals to hang out, I think, and drink a few beers and have a good time.
I'm not sure. Grandpa was older.
Right.
When I was getting to know him a little better,
Gotcha.
and I was only, 8 or 9.
Right.
But he was older then.
Right.
So
So who started the bar and was that your grandfather? He started the restaurant and bar.
I believe so. Yeah. I don't know what it was when it was Randall's Marina.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't remember.
So basically he got a loan and then paid, or he bought from Ding Darling. He bought that marina and took that over. What was he doing before that? He was fishing and fishing guiding before that.
Yeah.
And then once he bought the marina, then he was doing that as a living, or was it?
I thought they had food, they had beer. I think
Dockage and
the rental boats. I think you said.
Yeah, that was like the hub. Everybody came there and just visited and drank and
had a good old
time. Occasional fights.
Really? Because was there many restaurants on the island then?
There was Timmy's Nook. I don't know what year that came to be. But I grew up with a couple of kids from there that
right, which is another infamous restaurant, is no longer there. It's where the Green Flash restaurant is now.
Yes, right.
You can still see relics of it at the
American Legion
on the Sandcap Road.
Right.
They have a little room dedicated to it at the back of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I guess Mucky Duck wasn't there. That was there in 76, I think, or 74. So was there anything else on Andy Rosse Lane?
Just some regular houses.
Right.
I know Christopher Walken's dad had a house there.
Yes, I've heard that.
But it was this was a little later on. It was a block house, just single story.
Yeah.
And you'd always see him walking around. He would go to the bubble room a lot and just chat with my mother.
Right.
While she was working, and everybody knew him. They all loved him.
Yeah.
Really?
He was a good guy, and he talked about when Chris was a little kid, Christopher Walken, coming out on Andy's pier.
Really?
With his dad.
Oh, that's cool. I did read a story about that. Katie Gardenia said the dad came to her restaurant to the back door and told about how her son won an Academy Award or was nominated or something. So I think they were good friends too.
Katie has a book out too, and it's got my grandfather in it. And he was older, and the name of the story is Roadkill.
Oh, okay. So tell us what that's all about.
I think I heard that story. Yeah,
tell
me
us
about
that
story.
I've read that.
He in the morning you could smell the sticky buns cooking through all around the neighborhood. And,
right.
And he wanted some. And he was starting to have dementia, obviously, and there would be a raccoon dead from roadkill, and he'd want to trade the raccoon
for the sticky buns.
And she said, "No, Andy, that's fine. I'll just give them to you."
Right. Just take the buns. I don't need the raccoon.
That's
my goodness,
awesome.
That's a good
awesome.
book. Yeah, that's definitely worth looking that up. The book, and I think I read that you were writing. Have you written books, or had you thought about writing books, or in the process?
I wanted to do kind of like a children's book one time about my sister and growing up on the island, but it never went anywhere, and I don't really want to pursue it.
Oh, you don't? Okay. All right. I was going to give you a little nudge and say, we need to see that book.
I have a copy. It's put away somewhere.
Right.
It's not a book. It's just paper.
Right. No, we need to get that
book start.
out.
Yeah.
Exactly.
There might be something cool that kids would, like a bit of a fantasy of.
Which, speaking of, let me grab this picture he brought.
Watch your headphones. Oh, okay, so what have we got here? Can you see that? Let me see that.
Yes. That's good. The glare is gone.
Explain what it is.
This is looking from the water towards land. That's Andy's marina, or Andy's dock.
Very cool. So that was the original Andy's dock, and we'll put a picture up of that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the top, it says, you can't really read it very clearly, but it says sandwiches and beer, I think.
Sandwiches and beer.
Yeah, which sounds like a great place to go.
Awesome, rustic looking place for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic.
And I think you did have these for sale for a while, or you're...
Yeah, John Jensen came up with the idea a few years back.
Because you have the original copy, correct?
Yeah, and he made copies, and they were for sale at the marina. That was the display one,
right?
That picture there. A few sold, not many.
Yeah.
And of course, I would hand sign them, whatever you wanted on them.
Right.
But it didn't really go over that good. But it was interesting. It was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I'm sure it's a cool picture to have for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I want
Anybody wants one, hit us up and we'll put you in touch.
Me.
Yeah, Laurie wants one.
I do. For sure.
Yeah. So anything that you could share that people from today wouldn't know about Captiva? Is there any nuggets of information that you think are special, things that are from the past that you like to share?
I don't even like Andy Rosse Lane today.
Yeah.
It's kind of disgusting to me.
Right.
What it's turned into.
Yeah.
Back in the day, we all knew each other.
Yeah.
There wasn't a bunch of rentals. There was just people living their lives there.
Right.
Now everything's just a rental.
Mm-hmm.
And
even a lot of the homes are snowbird, or people that don't even use them. The people that own the homes don't actually use them very often.
Yeah, they might show up for Christmas week or two, and then that's it.
And then
so it's not the community that they used to be.
No, and that's the same way, which is with North Captiva Island also.
Right.
There was families that lived there.
Right.
They would take their kids by boat to Pine Island.
Right.
So they could go to school, and now it's a big mess out there. It's all rental.
Yeah.
So Pine Island is probably closer to what Captiva was today than it was. Do you think?
Pine Island is like the last holdout.
Yeah.
There's still cattle out there. There's a lot of exotic fruit that's grown.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a lot of nurseries.
It's still pretty quiet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Except for the southern end, St. James City, the very southern end. That turned into a disaster.
Yeah, no, I can see where you're coming from.
Sure.
I read tons of history books about the islands, and I think I would have liked to live back in the day instead of...
I wish I could go back in time and take a lot of more pictures.
Yeah.
A lot more photographs. Because back then a camera was there wasn't many around.
Right, expensive, and getting the film developed, I think, was
and why would you?
Hassle.
I think a lot of things, and even me as a photographer, there's things that you think, well, why would I take a picture of that? I'm around it every day. I'm doing. And then like I've seen a picture of an old house that I was in years ago, and why did I take it? But you look at it, come across it, and it's like, man, what isn't important then becomes very, very important later on down the road.
Yeah.
Just that picture right there of that marina. Like it's just a historical document of what was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, Don, do you have any? We do a little bit of trivia, and believe me, Ron, it's going to be heavily biased towards you.
It's a little game to end our.
Yeah.
So let's.
I have good news and I have bad news.
Okay, go on.
All right. The good news is Max did send some trivia.
Okay.
And the bad news is you've covered it all.
Oh no! Oh, okay.
Oh, that's all right. We won't remember.
All right.
We won't remember. We have memories like goldfish.
All right. Well, let's see.
So Don's gonna ask a question. You're gonna have to write it down, and then he'll tell us to reveal her.
I bet he knows them all. Let's see. Andy Rosse Lane is home to many restaurants. How many exactly, and what are their names?
What? We had to name
What,
them all?
today?
Yes.
Today? Okay.
Aha.
Well, no, that's hard.
Well,
We didn't,
live with
we
it.
didn't cover this. Okay.
Yeah, there's the other one.
Okay. I don't know. Somebody's going to get a big prize here. I don't know what the prize
Wow.
is, but
What are we gonna get?
What is that?
Um.
I can't think of them.
Okay. Oh.
okay.
Okay. Is that enough time? I
I'm
think so.
thinking the time is up.
Okay.
Okay. So let's start. Well,
You're still. Wait a minute. Nick's still writing. Can we say he's?
okay.
I can't think of
No,
the
he's
one
not.
place.
He's done.
All right. So who wants to start?
I'll start.
Okay.
Can I write this down?
No.
How many?
I said 7, but I only got 4. I have the Mucky Duck. I have the Lottie Da, which is the ice cream place. The Captiva Pizza. I have Key Lime Bistro. And then and then there's 2 more.
The one that I can't remember, which is like the Island Cow, but I can't remember the name of it, which I've been to a million times. But the Mucky Duck, the Key Lime Bistro, the pizza, Captiva Pizza, and the one more, which is what I said, which is the little cartoon.
All right.
Come on,
And Ron
Ron's
has
got
it.
it.
Ron has. Oh, yes. We forgot that.
Well,
Bubble Room.
Yes.
Is it on Andy Rosse though?
Yeah.
Duck,
Yeah.
RC Otters, Bubble.
Bubble-
Oh, the Otters. That's
That's
the
the
one.
one we were thinking of. So tell us the answer, Don.
Well, I don't know about this because Max said, of course, we can't trust Max.
No, we can't.
Right.
Max said 4 RC Otters,
Yeah.
Key Lime Bistro,
Yeah.
Mucky Duck, and Sunshine Seafood.
Oh, we missed that one. Sunshine Seafood is definitely there.
That's
I
what
put
he said.
down Sunshine Grill, and then I erased it.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I was thinking Sun, but I couldn't. Okay. Now, Max is definitely wrong.
Okay.
Yeah,
So,
well,
all right.
we'll let him know about that.
0
So
points for Max.
basically, we're all wrong anyway. Cause
Right.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
it.
All right.
All right,
Next
what's the
one.
next one?
Okay, so let's see here.
So,
Andy's fishing pier is now known as what?
Oh.
Oh, I got that one.
Do 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 do. We need a little recorded do 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 music.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
For,
Can you do? Oh, did you do
our
that?
trivia.
I think there is one.
stuff.
I think there is one on there.
Uh-oh. Okay.
Okay, got it.
All right. Go ahead.
All
We
right,
all
so-
show it. 1, 2,
2,
3.
3.
McCarthy's
McCarthy's
Marina.
You're all a winner. Yeah.
Yay, 1 point.
I'm interested in knowing one thing, and that is what effect did it have for the locals when South Seas came in?
Ron, do you remember South Seas?
It was a very different place than it is now.
How did the locals feel about it?
We tolerated it. Nobody really liked it.
Was it always gated so you couldn't get in? Or I guess you could on your motorcycle.
Yeah. As far as I can remember the gate, yeah. But I would go with my dad when I was a little kid down to the T-Dock, and there was a bar down there right off the T-Dock. It was one of the little cottages in there, and he would meet his clients for the next day's trip.
Gotcha.
And they'd be drinking at the bar, and I'd sit there and eat peanuts and have, a soda.
Right.
Oh, there was a bar at the T-Dock was always there, was it?
Yeah. As far as I can remember, yeah. And then the golf course is where the condos are now on the inside of Redfish Pass. And a couple of the condos were built on right over the how should I put this gently? The sewer ponds.
Oh, really?
Hey, nobody's.
They filled them in nicely.
Yes. Oh my goodness, that's funny. Yeah.
So all of a sudden, there's this deluge of traffic coming in for South Seas, especially in season. And every once in a while, they would escape, I'm sure, from the South Seas plantation and come down on Rossi Lane and talk to you guys. And do you remember any experiences in interacting with those people?
We had a lot of trespassers come on our property. We had signs up everywhere, gates, no trespassing, beware the dog, etc. They didn't care. They wanted to walk out on the dock and see the bay.
Right.
And I spent a lot of my time when my dad was out with the charter chasing people off the property.
No way.
Really?
And did you actually have a fierce dog, or was that
Yes.
just you did?
Yeah.
Okay.
He was on a rope, but
What was his name?
Prince.
Prince.
He would let you get inside of that rope reach,
Right.
and then he'd charge you, and he'd get you. He was a shepherd. He
was a good watchdog.
Yeah.
They make good watchdogs. Oh.
So the pier wasn't open to the public, or it was the actual part behind your house?
It was shut down. My granddaddy shut it down when my grandmother died. I don't remember what year that was. But even the so-called Danny Morgan,
Right.
sings the song "Old Captiva."
Yeah.
He snuck out on the dock when he first showed up. And it shows here's Danny Morgan, and we had stone crab traps on the dock out there, and it says, "Oh, here's Danny Morgan on the dock with the stone crab traps." And I caught him coming off the dock, and I didn't know who he was, and I'm like, "You guys got to get out of here!"
Right.
You know, what do you think you're doing?
Yeah,
Private
this
property.
is my property. Right.
So yeah, and
People
So
can't keep away from the water.
different days for sure.
Yeah.
Different days.
And now-
Awesome.
Wow, that's awesome. Love it.
Awesome.
All right, you got one more, Don?
No, I don't, as a matter of fact.
Okay.
That works.
I'm out.
So nobody won because we all suck.
No, everybody won.
Everybody's a
a
winner,
winner.
which means ring the bell, Ron. You're a winner
There you
in
go.
our eyes.
Exactly.
I'm a winner.
exactly.
Nick's a winner.
Well, and
Don's a winner.
Don's a winner. And just for that person that emailed us, we had the person that emailed us about a year and a half ago that said you're calling Andy Rosse Lane the wrong name. It's actually Andy Rosse. And I changed the way I called it once. And then Laurie said, well, that's one person out of several thousand people that have said it's called that. So we went back to Andy Rosse. Correct name, please.
Rossi.
There you go.
All
So
right.
to that one person, you're incorrect.
Right, spelled Rosse. Correct?
Yes.
Is it Porsche or Porsche?
It depends where you're from.
Oh.
Ah.
Whoa.
Okay. And did we say about Don helping us out?
No, Don, I'd like to thank you very much for running the board today. Max, our trusted son, is actually in the middle of doing something, and Ron, I had a small window of opportunity to get in here, and we really wanted to speak with him. So Don was kind enough to step up and run the board for us. So thank you very much for that.
It's always my pleasure to be among such interesting people.
Excellent.
Well,
thank you so much. And this has been absolutely fascinating. Thank you for taking the time, because I know it's not for taking the time out of your day, and we should do it again sometime.
Right, and there's got to be lots of stories that are now in your mind. You thought, oh, I need to tell about that one, so we'll do it again.
All right, that's all from the Sandcap Guide. Thanks very much, the Sandcap Guide podcast. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel to be updated for more content. Have a good one, guys. Thank you.